No matter where you are, there's always a conversation. That's what arrow.net is all about. ARROE.net. Let's do some pod crashing. Episode number 175 is with Rocca from Obituaries.
Yeah, can you hear me? Sorry about that. I tried something here to make it better, and I made it worse, but now I'm back.
But that's why we're broadcasters, Mo, because that's exactly what we do.
We make things worse. I'm pretty good at that.
Dude, I got to ask you, are you Edward R. Murrow, Gracie Allen, Paul Harvey, or Casey Kasem? Because your storytelling ability is just mind-blowing.
Well, first of all, that lineup, that's the kind of lineup that I would read off and people would say, how old are you? Were you born in 1892? And I would take that as a compliment because I was born way after my time, I think. But thank you very much. Those are all great people to be compared to.
To be the writer that you are, because you have put a voice inside your paragraphs. I mean, when did you decide that all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I need to find that platform so I can be seen as well as heard?
My very first job in television was with a kids show on PBS called Wishbone. It was debuted in the 90s. It's a favorite among millennials who are, I guess, a generation younger than I am. And it was about a Jack Russell Terrier who imagined himself as the hero of classic novels. It was kind of a trippy concept, but it's really where I learned how to tell a story and that it can be really harrowing and hard work, and it can be really hard to put it together, but that it's so satisfying to come out the other end. So I think as a kid, I certainly liked telling stories, and I loved embellishing stories when I was a kid. But I think really sort of sitting down and kind of figuring out how to write it, how to do it. That's where I kind of learned that in my 20s.
When you put together MoBituaries, there had to have been something inside your mind that said, I'm going to reach those people that are in the front seat of their car and or at work that are trying to escape. Because the way that you bring things to life, there's subjects that we can all relate with, such as the John Denver MoBituary and things like that. I mean, I just wanted to cry during the entire thing.
I'm so happy that people have enjoyed the John Denver MoBituary. I think I'll say this for myself. I think I have a good sense of people that I consider undervalued stocks, meaning that they're people that there's a real reservoir of interest in, goodwill for, that maybe haven't been top of mind for a while. So what I want people to do is go, oh my God, right.
That's it.
John Denver. That's right. John Denver. He was so great. Or he was, and not even necessarily so great, although I am a John Denver fan, but just somebody that you maybe haven't thought about in a while, who's sort of been in the back of your mind. I think also in the way that the culture has changed, a hit show today is watched by 6 million people or something. And I talk about in the John Denver MoBituary how he had a 1975 Christmas special that you can see on YouTube. It's kind of wild to watch. It's very 1970s. And 65 million people watched it. And so it's just nuts that and then back then, what America had 200 plus million people. I mean, it had probably, 3/4 of the population does now. So that makes it even more astonishing.
Dolly Parton says that country music is storytelling. Are you a country music artist in secret?
Well, yes. I mean, first of all, when I had satellite radio, and I hope I'm not alienating anyone by saying that I don't have it now because I don't have a car. But when I did have it, I used to love the Outlaw Country station. That was my favorite. It's a great station. I love Waylon Jennings so much. And I love Loretta Lynn, and I got to profile her in 2010. And, I think probably listening to Loretta Lynn was really the first time that I had the experience of going, whoa, this person is telling me her life story in a song, like quite literally telling me her life story. And so that she was in fact my gateway into country music. And I think no other music does it better. It just sort of says, I'm going to sit down in front of you, make you feel like I'm right in front of you, and tell you my story.
Yeah.
So yes, I would like to say that's an influence.
So when you were with Loretta, when I was with her, all she wanted to do was talk about baking. She loves baking pies. Did you get the opportunity to talk about how she just loves cooking?
Well, we did. I mean, of course, I remember those great Crisco ads. So when I was growing up, that are always on TV. I'm trying to think. We didn't. What I found is we may have talked a little bit about cooking. What I found is that she was so willing and inclined to talk about the most everyday things, which of course made her so real. There wasn't a sense like she wasn't thinking, what is he driving at here? Why would we talk about that? Or I've got an album to sell, like a lot of interviewees do. She was really, she talked about, and it's in my piece, she talked about a pair of panties that Patsy Cline had given her and that she kept for 30 years because they were so sturdy. And I thought, this is going in the piece, because you're not going to find a megastar that would be that kind of, she was talking like my mother might talk or somebody like that.
Will you ever do a MoBituary on the dying movie theaters?
I love doing MoBituaries. We have one coming up on a certain type of banana, the banana that our parents and grandparents ate before it was wiped out. People don't realize the banana we eat today, which is rather bland, I'm sorry to say, is nowhere as tasty as the one people ate in the 50s. So I do like doing things on non-people. It's a little bit tricky, sort of concepts like that, but we've definitely done it, and we're going to do more. I just think the movie theaters thing, I just think it might be too sad. It's such a bummer.
Yeah, it sure is. So when you write, are you a stream thinker? Is it something that just comes into you because you pick out subjects that really are very relatable and top of mind, but at the same time, like you said before, it's something that we've put in the back of our mind as well?
Yeah, I think, when people say they operate from the gut, I'm always a little bit skeptical. Like I don't love leaders who say, I'm just operating from the gut. However, I feel like I've been doing this long enough now that I trust my gut more. So I'll get a feeling of this is the person. Like in season 2, we did Laura Branigan. And because, and that was kind of special because the St. Louis Blues, the hockey team at the time, had adopted Gloria as their theme, and they went from last place in the NHL, this is the first to ever happen, to winning the Stanley Cup for the first time in their 50-year history with that song. And what was so interesting to me is that all these young people in St. Louis were saying, hey, can we get Laura Branigan to come and sing that song live? They didn't realize that she had died kind of quietly years ago. And I thought that had sort of all the right ingredients for something like that. People would listen to that and go, oh my God, I'd forgotten that she died. And what did happen, because she was such a big deal. So it's a lot of it is kind of my gut telling me and just going with it and believing that and this is something I think I'm sure you know too, if you're genuinely excited about something, it's contagious for the audience.
It sure is. Mo, you got to come back to this show anytime in the future. The door is always going to be open for you.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay, sir?
Okay. Thank you.